tell the person that's standing up for the world, want to be a what do you call it, a detective to the world, and a role model for men and women out there, to come and take care and be a role model for her son. That's all that was. And to some people that may have been bashing, but for me, that's my real life. You know, she's acting as though the life that she was once in is not a thing. And I think that is the biggest thing for me. Like, how do you live your life knowing that you have an entire son that you begged for?
So no man wants to be called a deadbeat dad. It's like having cancer. And even if it's not true, you don't want that out there because people look at you different. Your friends treat you different. You guys know the routine. Any man that's a dad and he's called a deadbeat dad, it's terrible on your character. But I've never heard of a deadbeat stud dad or a deadbeat stud parent. But hey, these are the times that we are living in now. And I got this story from Facebook, and it's a young lady who's a creator over there by the name of Miss Neek Wimbush. She was in a relationship with this stud by the name of Mac the Tailor, a former police officer, at least at the time, and now a clothing designer somewhere in Atlanta. Both of them seem to be there now. So if you ever want to get some clothes designed in Atlanta, shout out to Mac the Tailor. But anyways, they got together, all right, and they decided that at some point they wanted to go ahead and do artificial insemination. But let me have Miss Neek tell you about the whole story.
There was a point in time where me and Mac Love was very much in love, and we did our thing. You know, she was a police officer at the time. She was working for Baltimore police. I was living in New York City. We finally, decided to, say, what, fuck it, let's shack up. Let's U-Haul, as they call it. Let's U-Haul. And I moved to Maryland. When I moved to Maryland, or whatever, I remember my mother, R.I.P. to her, telling me, like, be careful. She liked her, but she was like, she was explaining to my mom that she wanted to have a baby and all of this stuff. I didn't know about artificial insemination. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I never knew about artificial insemination. This woman asked me to have a baby for her. Originally, I said no because it wasn't because I didn't want to. It's just, I guess I just didn't know how it worked. Whatever. Make a long story short, she continued to beg. We let the world know that we was going to go through with this insemination. But we didn't know that it was going to go viral the way it did. So when we spoke about it in 2015 and we did our first insemination, everybody shared it. And so we just felt like at that point we should just share the journey. For 6 months, from June of 2015 to November of 2015, we inseminated. I remember telling her after the 5th try, I said, this is stressful because I felt like I was doing everything in my power. I felt like I was taking my prenatal vitamins. I felt like I wasn't having any drinks. I was eating good. I was good. I was good. I was doing everything good, y'all. I was stress-free because she made my life stress-free. After the 5th try, y'all, I said, I only got one more time in me because it's not happening. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of stress. So she says, okay. I said, well, let's try one more time. We inseminated. This time we used way more sperm and got way more sperm than we ever had before. So this last time, by the way, for her, she's going to tell people that she didn't know about the last time I tried to conceive. You knew about the other 5, but the next month you didn't know about it? Come on, make it make sense, because she knows there's way too many people out there who know this story. So she has to say that she was there. She got to say that she was involved, but I wasn't involved in that last one. I wasn't involved in the last. So who was involved in it then? Anyway, make a long story short, y'all. In November, at the end of November, we inseminated again. And this time we did the day before ovulation, the 6 days in between ovulation, and the day after. So 8 days in total. That's the first time that we had tried all 8 days. Because remember, there's only 6 days in your fertile period. I was like, oh, I hope this time I get pregnant. Her birthday was December 21st. December 15th, she was patrolling. and I found out I was pregnant.
So they got the baby. They're happy. Now, keep in mind, they already have children from previous relationships. At this particular point, Miss Neek Wimbush is playing the role of a stay-at-home mom, while Mac the Taylor, who is from Baltimore and a police officer in the city of Baltimore, is being the provider person in the relationship. She's making all the money. But another issue comes about after the child comes. What was that?
Y'all know how like you get the new baby blues? It was something like that. If y'all could run this, if y'all could share this live. After I had the baby, she was, she was still doing her thing. Her family was very involved. Originally, her partner at the Baltimore City Police Department was supposed to be his godfather. Her cousin was supposed to be the godmother. None of them are involved. Let me just throw that out there. Now that, all of this has transpired. Speed it up. I had gained so much weight from being pregnant, y'all. And my opinion was, and this is just an opinion, because I'll speak facts, but I'll speak opinions. I can't tell y'all what she thought. I can't tell y'all anything. All I could do is go off of what I thought, which is my opinion, and give you guys straight facts. When I had the baby, she, it was never a thing of calling me beautiful anymore. It wasn't any of that. Okay, let me throw that out there. It was, it was just regular. Like, it just didn't feel right, And so I'm just like, well, dang, like she would get upset because after I had the baby, my ankles and everything was swole. Like, I'm talking about to the point where I had cuts in between my ankles. I could barely walk because of the water weight. And so, it was a thing of, oh, well, you're not cleaning and you're not doing this and you're not doing that. And I was like, I wanted her to pick up the slack. You know what I mean? Just a little bit, because I had just had a baby. And I guess her thing was she worked all day. So the least she could do is come home to a cooked meal. That's something that I would typically do. However, I just needed her to, at this point, y'all ever heard them say 50-50? Well, for me at that point, I was 0. So I needed her to be 100 for the both of us. Point blank, period. Whatever. We just wasn't meshing. It had nothing to do with other women. It had nothing to do with anything. It was solely the fact of this just don't feel right. I'm one of them people that if I feel like I'm not being treated the way I deserve to be treated, I am going to walk away.
As you can hear, clearly she gained some weight, feeling unattractive. That happens in relationships. I understand that, right? They even have a term for some guys. It can become a sexist marriage. So she's not able to contribute to the chores and do things like that. It's all bad up in these streets. But she found somebody else online while Mac the Taylor is at work that could basically be her text buddy. And, this lady is telling her that, she's still beautiful no matter how much weight she's gained. And now remember, Mac the Taylor and her are a social media couple 2 at a time. So what happens next is going to shock you.
Maybe I went through postpartum. I don't know. I can't honestly tell y'all. I don't know. I really feel like I was alone. That was just then. I felt like I was alone even though she was there. And so I needed to vent. Like, my partner that I had been with for years, we were no longer there at that point. We was no longer, meshing the way we once did. So I started venting to a friend, someone, off of Facebook, someone that didn't know either one of us, but she also lived in Baltimore. Never once did I cheat on her. Never once did, I speak to this woman in the motion of trying to with her. I was speaking to her for my sanity. I have a new baby. Not only do I have a new baby, a lot of you guys may know or not know that I also have a daughter. She has a son. So being a mom and having a C-section and all of this stuff and being a stay-at-home mom at that, you guys. I was a stay-at-home mom. I was in school for criminal justice. So I was doing online. It worked for us, So I just needed somebody to vent to. Between January of 2017 and March of 2017, I was venting to this one woman. And at this point, I felt like the relationship was kind of like dwindling away. If you could say, like if you take a little take some thread off your clothes and you just keep pulling it. It was kind of like that. I just felt like she wasn't being the stand-up person that she should have been. And so I'm not saying that I was right in speaking to this woman. What I am saying is that if any of you guys know me, I'm very raw. I'm authentic. I tell it how it is, and it is what it is. I'm venting to this girl, or whatever the case is, and I remember telling her to come out. This is the part that she doesn't know because we never had a conversation about it. I left before we could. The girl is actually still one of my greatest friends, y'all. I won't disclose her name, but she's one of my greatest friends. She is a bus driver. I decided the night that me and my ex went out to invite her. She's a stud. Am I wrong? Hell, mother yeah. Now that I'm older, because this was 7 years ago, it's wrong because anybody would have looked at it like, Nanique, you know damn well that's some shit. I take that. I own that. I own my ups. I invite the girl out. I introduce them, or whatever the case is. I was sneaky about it though, because we had a baby journey and we had so many followers. I knew that it would look odd that this woman comes out, this stud coming out to, chill or whatever the case is. So I went on Facebook and I told my girl at the time, I'm gonna invite some people out so they can ask us questions face to face. But really, I just wanted to meet my friend. So I was kind of being a little sneaky, I guess you could say. But anyway, the baby was already here, so it didn't have anything to do with that. We get to this place. I meet the girl. I had butterflies like crazy. This woman uplifted me so much. Not butterflies in the sense of, ooh, I want her, but butterflies in the sense of, there is a woman who every day is telling me, Mo, you're beautiful. You had a whole baby. Yeah, you gained weight, but you had a whole baby. You just had a whole baby journey. Like, your weight is beautiful because you carried a child, not just for yourself, but for another woman. Like, I wish that, somebody would do that for me. I wish that, I could, be in a gym with my girl and tell her how beautiful she is.
So here's what's happening now. She introduced this lady to her girlfriend.
Bruh.
Behind her back. She's been talking to this lady and all the stuff, right? But now, here's what's going to happen. The young lady is going to end up somehow going through her phone, and I'm going to play what happens now with the going through your phone part.
Whatever, speed it up. Intoxicated. This is the night of question. Let me pull my receipts real quick. I'm going to turn this around, okay? This night in question, you guys, we both were drinking. We went back into the home. I called the girl to let her know I was thankful for her coming and all of that stuff. My girl at the time comes in, and she asked me who I was on the phone with. The reason why she was coming in is because she was going to drop off Tristan's god sister, who was keeping our kids. She went home, and I guess I must have forgot, y'all. I ain't even gonna sit there and lie. I must have forgot. I don't know what the I was thinking, but I was on the phone with this woman, and I was telling her, thank you for coming. So my girl comes in, and she's like, who you talking to? I completely up, and I said, oh, my cousin. I paused, and I said, oh, my cousin. So she tried to take my phone from me, y'all. And because I know that I was wrong, and because I know that I had told this woman to pull up, she would have saw that I had lied to her, okay? It was never about cheating. It was more so about me just having a venting buddy, and I wanted that for myself. Does it make it right? Absolutely not. Not at all. So on March 17th, on March 10th, I winded up grabbing her arm, or whatever the case is, and trying, fighting for my phone, like most people would do if they know that they're doing something wrong, right? Still, what does that have to do with you being who you're supposed to be to my son? Instead of her just saying that, we had a scuffle or whatever the case is and we are right, her badge was more important than her family. And I'm not saying that I was right because I fought for the phone, but we got a whole baby and we got kids in this house. At the end of the day, when the police came, I went outside to speak to the officers, and I told them, we had, A, B, and C happen, and everything's okay. She wanted to fight for her badge because she figured, if anything, she still needs to be able to feed her kid, right? Her kid, her son, not the son we had together, but her kid. Okay. So at this point, Destiny Macklin, as y'all can see. That was 3:11 because at this point it's past 12 a.m. It's like 3 something in the morning. I don't know how to read army time. She gave me hell about that. Why? Because she didn't have her badge. She was suspended from work because I guess anytime an officer, at this time she's a detective, anytime a officer is in any type of domestic dispute, they do take your badge and they do take your gun just for the, just in case. She gave me hell about that every single day. Every day she gave me hell, rightfully so, right? That's how she feeds us. During this time, I just didn't want to do it anymore. I don't know about y'all, but I'm one of those people where if everything is okay and we just have, some issues in a relationship, like, maybe disagreements, it's okay.
So you didn't want to let her see your phone, because you're being shady. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm on Mac the Taylor side right now because you're being deceitful. So now the girl has lost some privileges at work. You are showing signs of cheating on her, although you didn't say that. But yeah, for you have to be deceitful, that is cheating, even if you didn't do anything. That is you have broken the trust barriers. So now you have put her at risk of not being able to take care of herself and you. You're the reason why this is happening. She, like I said, you're a career risk to her now, right? Now what's going to happen is she's going to talk about how she's going to relieve the relationship and the girl doesn't want to really see the kid anymore.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm one of those people where if everything is okay and we just have, some issues in a relationship, like, maybe disagreements, it's okay. What's not okay is for something to continue on for months and years and people stay and stick around in situations that no longer serve them. I felt like my time was up. I felt like I realized that you put your badge and your gun before your son. Now, y'all got to think about this, right? I am, at this point, a stay-at-home mom who's in real estate school, and I'm going to school for criminal justice, which, by the way, I did get my degree. So you already know it's real. If I decided to get up and leave everything behind, some people stay because of stuff. Some people stay because of money. Some people stay because of the material stuff. Some people stay because, she's a detective and she got money. I left March 17th, 6 days after the incident happened. I got up and I walked out with a suitcase and a baby. Do y'all understand me? Don't let me get emotional. And if I do get emotional, I promise y'all, it's solely because I get emotional about my son. I get emotional like when I look at him and I, and I know for a fact that somebody else chose the donor for my son. We did this shit together. And to think that somebody could be so foul towards a baby, regardless to what we have going on, you always want to scream, I'm going to go to court and I'm going to get a protective order and I'm going to do it for what? I'm not harming you. I'm not harming you. Not one time did I threaten this woman. Not one time did I say to her, I'm going to beat your ass, which I could have said. Not one time did I do any of that. But you quick to run to the cops. You quick to throw the courts in there. I'm going to take you to court. I'm going to do this. Why don't you take me to court and get partial custody of your son? That way you don't have to deal with me. We could get mediators. Y'all tried to mediate stuff in between the situation. Her parents were still picking up my son. Her family. I still speak to her sisters. I still speak to her brothers. I still speak to her cousins, her aunts. They check on him from time to time. But at the same time, y'all, when I decided to leave on March 17th, do y'all know that was one of the toughest situations that I had to go through? Do people know? She probably don't even know. And that's okay because it was me that decided to leave. I'm not one of those people who's going to stick in some shit knowing that there's no change being done. When I left this woman, I did not leave because I was leaving for good. I left because I wanted her to realize what the she had. I wanted her to realize, like, bro, women don't just do this. You get what I'm saying? Women don't just, say, you know what, babe? Yeah, let's run this up. Now, a lot of people might say, I'm going to get back to March 17th. A lot of people ask me, well, Neek, why didn't you why you didn't take her to court? Or why y'all didn't? Because I didn't think I needed to. I didn't think that, like, when he was first born, that was her ace, bro. You couldn't tell me that this woman would have ever decided that she would walk out of his life. You couldn't tell me that. I just knew she was going to do her part. You know what I mean? No, we didn't get married, so she's not on the birth certificate, okay? When I had him, it was never a thought. Y'all gotta think, I was younger. This is seven years ago. I didn't think I needed to do that. I thought her word was her bond. You're a sworn officer. You stand for something. You don't want nobody to, clown you for not being a stand-up stud daddy that you're supposed to be. You get what I'm saying? Or other mother. You don't think that. It never comes across your mind that someone who is as powerful as she was then would walk away from a situation that everybody knew about. The people who are shaming me are the people who didn't know. The people who are shaming me are the people who had no clue about the situation.
So, you guys have seen that and heard that. Firstly, you did not get married to her. If this should have been a marriage, then she would have some legal right to stay or to contribute to your son. But you didn't ask her to do that. So she made a conscious decision to leave and not want to be a part of your life, or you left, but she didn't want to stay with you primarily because of some things. You said, hey, that you gained some weight, but also she almost lost her job dealing with you. So at that point, you had to go, from what you're telling me. So now the lady doesn't want to come around the son anymore because, again, it's not her child. She might have talked you into having that child, but why does she want to stay around for that child when you didn't make her marry you? If most men could do what she did, they would. If most men could have a baby by a lady that was very toxic and problematic and you didn't really have to be there, they might do that. Some of them do that. But in the case of situation where I'm not really the father and I'm just there, I'm out. I'm going to go live my life and start over again, which is what she did. And one of the reasons why she did it was because of you. Now, if the person's supposed to be a legal parent, then make them be a legal parent before you have the kid. You didn't do that, so now you're on Facebook trying to make her look bad, when in fact you're kind of making yourself look bad. So much so that somebody like me is getting a hold of the story. And me getting a hold of the story, a lot of guys on YouTube probably don't get a hold of the story. So in closing, stop telling all your business online. Stop doing things that don't make sense. And again, that's just really what it's about, guys. I can't believe how crazy this story is. But guys, it's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson with another episode of Fair Use. I'm out.